Let me tell you something. The most dangerous place you can ever be in this world is trapped inside your own negative thoughts. You see, you don't even need enemies when your own mind is working against you. Some of y'all are fighting battles that don't even exist because your thoughts have convinced you of failure before you even took the first step. Negative thinking is a cycle, and here's the thing about cycles: they repeat themselves over and over until you decide to break them. If you don't, they'll keep you spinning in the same place year after year, wondering why nothing is changing. But here's the truth: your thoughts are seeds, and whatever you plant is going to grow. If you plant fear, doubt, and bitterness, that's what your life will look like. But if you plant faith, courage, and gratitude, you'll see your whole life transform. Today, I'm going to show you how to break that cycle and take your life back one thought, one decision, and one action at a time. Recognize the lies your mind tells you. The most dangerous battlefield you will ever step on is not out there in the world. It's in your own mind. That inner voice can either be your greatest ally or your worst enemy. So many people live their entire lives held hostage by lies their own mind tells them. Lies like, you're not enough, you'll always fail, or no one truly loves you. These aren't just thoughts, they're chains that keep you from moving forward. The first step to breaking the cycle of negative thinking is recognizing those lies for what they are. They are not truth. They are fear wearing a mask, trying to convince you to stay small, stay silent, and stay stuck. If you never question those thoughts, you will end up building your entire life on a foundation of falsehoods. You've got to become the gatekeeper of your mind. Every thought that comes in needs to be checked. Don't just accept every idea that pops up in your head as fact. When a negative thought comes in, stop and ask yourself, where did this come from? Who told me this? Is there actual proof, or is this just fear talking? That one habit alone can change your entire life. Most of the lies in your mind didn't even start with you. They were planted there by people who were broken themselves: a parent who said you'd never amount to anything, a teacher who didn't believe in you, an ex who tore down your self-esteem. They handed you those lies, and you've been carrying them ever since, replaying them like a broken record. It's time to hit stop. Here's the truth: your past does not define you. Your mistakes do not define you. The voices of other people do not define you. The only thing that truly defines you is what you choose to believe today. If you want to change your life, you've got to change what you accept as truth. Negative thoughts are tricky because they feel so real. Your mind will give you evidence: a time you failed, a time you were rejected, a time someone betrayed you, and use that to convince you that you're doomed to repeat it. But let me tell you, your past experiences are not prophecy. Just because something happened before doesn't mean it will happen again. You've got to stop living your life like it's a courtroom where your mistakes are the evidence against you. This isn't a trial, it's a new day, it's a new season. The lies in your head don't get to have the final say. When that inner critic tells you you'll never make it, respond with, watch me. When it says nobody cares about you, tell yourself, I was created with purpose and I matter. Speak the opposite of the lie. Don't fight thoughts with more thoughts, fight them with words. The mind is like a garden. Whatever you plant there will grow. If you let weeds of negativity stay unchecked, they will overrun everything good in your life. But if you plant seeds of hope, truth, and belief over time, they will grow strong enough to choke out those weeds. Every day, start paying attention to the pattern of your thoughts. Are they building you up or tearing you down? If you don't take control of them, they will control you. Recognizing lies isn't a one-time thing. It's a daily discipline. You've got to catch those negative thoughts early, before they spiral out of control. The moment you start thinking, I can't do this, replace it with, I can figure this out. The moment you think this is hopeless, replace it with, I haven't seen the full picture yet. Over time, you'll begin to notice a shift. You'll start to separate who you are from what you think. That's freedom. That's when you truly begin to break the cycle of negative thinking because you understand the truth. You are not your thoughts. You are the thinker, and you get to choose which thoughts to keep. Once you realize this, no lie can hold you hostage anymore. Stop feeding your fears. Fear is like a fire. If you keep feeding it with wood and gasoline, it will grow out of control and consume everything around it. But if you stop feeding it, it will eventually burn out. Negative thinking works the exact same way. Every time you replay your fears in your mind, you are pouring fuel on that fire. Many people don't even realize how often they are feeding their fears. They think they're preparing for the worst, but what they're really doing is rehearsing failure over and over. They picture the relationship falling apart, the job interview going badly, the business idea collapsing, and then they wonder why they feel paralyzed when it's time to take action. You've got to stop giving fear free rent in your mind. Fear only has power because you give it attention. If you start focusing on faith instead, fear will shrink. The energy you give to fear is the same energy you could use to build courage. Every time you say, "What if I fail?" stop and flip the script. What if I succeed? Your mind doesn't know the difference between a vivid fear and a vivid hope. It just reacts to whatever picture you paint. Start painting pictures of victory instead of defeat. Fear is sneaky. It often hides behind logic or realism. It will try to convince you that it's just being practical when really, it's trying to keep you safe and small. You have to be able to recognize when fear is disguising itself as wisdom. One of the most powerful ways to starve fear is through action. Fear thrives in delay. The longer you wait, the louder fear gets. But when you take even the smallest step forward, you weaken its grip. You show fear that you are in control, not the other way around. Stop feeding fear with your words. Be careful what you say about your future. If you keep speaking failure, you are giving fear permission to grow. Speak faith, speak life, speak possibility. Watch who you share your dreams with. Some people will unintentionally feed your fears by projecting their own doubts onto you. Surround yourself with voices that push you forward, not ones that hold you back. Fear loves isolation. When you keep everything bottled up, fear grows louder. Talk about your fears with someone who can remind you of your strength and potential. Sometimes just saying your fears out loud can make them lose their power. Fear also feeds off of imagination. When you sit and imagine worst-case scenarios, you are literally building fear stronger in your mind. Train yourself to imagine best-case scenarios instead. See yourself winning, thriving, overcoming. This isn't about pretending bad things don't happen. It's about refusing to let fear be the loudest voice in your life. Fear will always show up, but it doesn't have to sit in the driver's seat. When you feel fear rising, ask yourself, what's the truth in this moment? Most of the time, fear is about something that hasn't even happened yet. Stay in the present. Deal with what is real, not what you're imagining. Starving fear isn't a one-time act. It's a daily choice. Every day, you have to decide, will I feed my fear or feed my faith? You can't do both. The less attention you give to fear, the weaker it becomes. Over time, you'll look back and realize that the things that used to terrify you don't even faze you anymore. That's when you know you've taken your power back. Surround yourself with uplifting voices. The people you surround yourself with are either adding to your growth or slowly draining your potential. You may not notice it at first, but the voices around you become the soundtrack of your mind. If you spend your days listening to negativity, criticism, and gossip, don't be surprised when your own thoughts begin to sound the same way. The company you keep has the power to either build you up or break you down. Sometimes the reason you stay stuck in a cycle of negative thinking isn't just because of what's happening in your mind, but because of the voices you allow into your life. You can't expect to think positively when everyone around you is speaking defeat. You cannot soar like an eagle if you keep hanging out with pigeons who are satisfied with staying on the ground. There are two kinds of voices in this world: voices that speak life and voices that speak death. Voices that remind you of your potential and voices that constantly remind you of your past mistakes. Voices that push you to grow and voices that convince you to stay the same. If you want to break the cycle of negative thinking, you must choose carefully which voices you listen to. Some of you are loyal to relationships that are toxic to your future. You keep certain people around because you've known them for years, but history alone is not a reason to hold on to someone who keeps poisoning your mind. Love people, yes, but you don't have to give everyone equal access to your spirit. There are some doors that need to be closed permanently if you want to protect your peace. Think about it. Every time you share a dream with certain people, they immediately list 10 reasons why it won't work. You walk away feeling smaller, weaker, and less certain than before. That's not support, that's sabotage. The sad truth is, some people aren't really against your dream, they're just against seeing you rise above the level they're comfortable with. You need uplifting voices that speak faith over your future, people who look at you and see not only who you are but who you could become. Sometimes you don't need advice. You just need someone who believes in you so strongly that you begin to believe in yourself again. Even one positive, encouraging voice can be enough to drown out 100 negative ones. But here's the thing, it's not just about who's around you. It's also about what you allow into your space through media, music, and conversation. If all you consume is negativity, bad news, toxic TV shows, hateful online comments, you are feeding your mind garbage. It's impossible to have a healthy mindset when you're constantly surrounded by unhealthy input. Take a good, honest look at your daily environment. Who are the top 5 people you spend the most time with? What kind of content do you watch, read, or listen to? If it's mostly negative, it's time to start making changes. You don't have to cut everyone off immediately, but you do need to start setting boundaries. Sometimes, the uplifting voice you need most will come from within. Speak life over yourself, even when no one else is doing it. If you can't find anyone to encourage you, become your own encourager. Look in the mirror and declare, I am capable, I am worthy, I am enough. At first, it might feel awkward, but over time, you'll begin to believe it. Surrounding yourself with uplifting voices isn't just about feeling good. It's about shaping your future. When you're around people who dream big, you start to dream big. When you're around people who take risks, you start to take risks. Your environment silently trains you for either greatness or mediocrity. There will always be people who try to pull you back into negativity because that's where they're comfortable. Don't take it personally. Their reaction has more to do with their own fears than it does with you. Your growth might make them uncomfortable, but you weren't put on this earth to make everyone comfortable. When you begin to rise, you will lose some people, and that's okay. Growth always comes with separation. Don't mourn the loss of those relationships. Celebrate the fact that you're becoming the person you were meant to be. Find your tribe. Surround yourself with people who light up when you talk about your dreams. Seek out mentors who are already living the kind of life you aspire to live. Join communities where positivity and growth are the norm. The more uplifting voices you have in your life, the easier it becomes to silence the negative ones. Because when your environment changes, your mindset changes. And when your mindset changes, your whole life begins to shift. Rewrite the story you keep telling yourself. Every single one of us has a story we tell ourselves about who we are, what we deserve, and what we're capable of. That story shapes every decision we make, every risk we take, and every dream we either pursue or abandon. The problem is, most people are living out stories that were never theirs to begin with. They've been handed a script written by their past, their pain, or someone else's opinion. Maybe your story says, "I always mess things up." So every time an opportunity comes your way, you sabotage yourself because deep down you believe failure is inevitable. Or maybe your story says, "I don't deserve love." So you settle for relationships that are beneath you, thinking you should be grateful for scraps of affection. The thing about stories is, they become self-fulfilling prophecies. If you keep telling yourself you're unlucky, you'll subconsciously make choices that lead to more disappointment. If you keep telling yourself you're unworthy, you'll miss out on blessings because you won't even recognize them when they come. But here's the good news. Just because you've been living one story doesn't mean you can't rewrite it. You have the pen in your hand. You don't have to keep following a script that no longer serves you. Rewriting your story starts with awareness. You have to pause and ask yourself, what have I been telling myself about me? Where did that story come from? Most of the time, you'll discover that your narrative was shaped by experiences you didn't choose: childhood wounds, heartbreak, rejection. But you don't have to keep letting yesterday dictate today. Start speaking a new story over your life. Instead of saying, "I always mess things up," say, "I am learning and growing every day." Instead of, "I don't deserve love," say, "I am worthy of healthy, fulfilling relationships." At first, it will feel like you're lying to yourself. But that's only because you've been repeating the old story for so long. Your words are powerful. The more you speak a new narrative, the more your mind will begin to align with it. Over time, your actions will follow your beliefs, and your reality will begin to change. Don't underestimate the power of visualization. See yourself living out the story you desire. Imagine yourself thriving in your career, surrounded by love, walking in confidence. Your mind doesn't know the difference between imagination and reality. The more vividly you see it, the more you will begin to create it. Be patient with yourself. Changing your story doesn't happen overnight. There will be days when the old narrative tries to creep back in. That's normal. Just keep choosing the new story over and over until it becomes second nature. Some people won't understand your new story. They've gotten used to the old version of you. They might try to remind you of your past, bringing up who you used to be. That's okay. Smile and keep moving forward. You don't owe anyone an explanation for your growth. Surround yourself with people who support your new story. If you're rewriting a narrative of abundance, don't spend time with people who constantly talk lack and limitation. If you're creating a story of confidence, don't hang around voices that tear you down. Understand this: the story you tell yourself is the foundation of your entire life. If the foundation is weak, the whole structure will eventually collapse. But if the foundation is strong, you can build something incredible on top of it. Your past may have written the first few chapters, but you get to decide how the story ends. Pick up the pen, cross out the lies, rewrite the truth, because the story you tell yourself today will become the life you live tomorrow. Turn problems into possibilities. Life will always bring challenges. No one is exempt from pain, setbacks, or difficulties. The difference between people who rise and those who stay stuck isn't the size of their problems, it's how they see their problems. Negative thinkers see obstacles as dead ends. Positive thinkers see obstacles as detours that lead to new paths. The way you interpret what happens to you will either break you or build you. When you're caught in negative thinking, a problem feels like the end of the world. You start telling yourself, "This is it. I'll never recover from this." That mindset blinds you to opportunities that are right in front of you. It keeps you focused on what went wrong instead of what could go right. But every problem has two sides: the pain it brings and the potential it holds. If you can shift your perspective, you'll start to see challenges as hidden blessings. Sometimes the very situation you're complaining about today is preparing you for a future you can't see yet. Think back to a time when you faced something you thought would destroy you. Maybe it was losing a job, going through heartbreak, or experiencing failure. At the time, it felt unbearable. But now, looking back, you can see how it shaped you, taught you, and ultimately led you to something better. That's what happens when you start seeing problems as possibilities. When something goes wrong, don't just ask, "Why me?" Ask, "What is this trying to teach me? What strength is this building in me? What opportunity might be hidden inside this situation?" These questions open your mind to solutions you couldn't see before. Every great invention, every major breakthrough, every inspiring story started with a problem. The phone you use every day, it exists because someone saw a problem with communication and decided to solve it. The car you drive, it exists because someone got tired of slow travel and dreamed of a better way. Your greatest problem could become your greatest idea if you approach it with the right mindset. Negative thinkers dwell on what they can't do. Positive thinkers focus on what they can do. When life knocks you down, don't waste energy complaining about how unfair it is. Use that energy to take even one small step forward. Progress, no matter how small, builds momentum and breaks the cycle of negativity. Sometimes the possibility inside your problem isn't about fixing the situation, but about changing you. Challenges reveal who you really are. They expose weaknesses you didn't know you had and force you to grow in ways you wouldn't have chosen on your own. The struggle isn't pleasant, but it's necessary for your development. When a door closes, it doesn't mean your story is over. It often means you're being redirected to something better. If one opportunity falls through, believe that another one is coming. Instead of obsessing over the door that's shut, start looking for the windows that are opening. Here's a truth most people miss. Problems are proof that you're alive and moving. The only people who don't have problems are 6 feet underground. If you have problems, it means you still have purpose. It means you still have a future worth fighting for. Don't let temporary setbacks convince you of permanent defeat. Just because you're in a hard season now doesn't mean you'll stay there forever. Seasons change, storms pass. What feels like the end today could be the very beginning of a new chapter tomorrow. Train yourself to respond differently when problems arise. Instead of saying, "I can't handle this," say, "This is tough, but I'm tougher." Instead of thinking, "Why is this happening to me?" say, "This is happening for me to grow me and prepare me." Your words create your mindset, and your mindset shapes your reality. Every problem you face has the potential to produce wisdom, strength, and resilience. The very things you learn while overcoming challenges become tools you can use to help others later on. Your pain today can become someone else's hope tomorrow. When you start seeing problems this way, they stop feeling like punishment and start feeling like preparation. You'll begin to welcome challenges as opportunities to rise higher, get stronger, and move closer to your destiny. Protect your peace and energy. Your peace is priceless. Yet so many people give it away freely. Negative thinking thrives in chaos, noise, and confusion. If you want to break free from it, you must fiercely protect your peace and energy. That means being intentional about who and what you allow into your life. Peace doesn't just happen by accident. It's something you create through boundaries, habits, and choices. If you don't set those boundaries, other people will constantly invade your space with their drama, negativity, and demands. Before you know it, you'll be mentally drained and emotionally exhausted. The truth is, you can't control other people's behavior, but you can control your response. You don't have to attend every argument you're invited to. You don't have to engage in every piece of gossip that comes your way. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is simply walk away. Start by paying attention to how people make you feel. After spending time with them, do you feel inspired, energized, and hopeful? Or do you feel anxious, drained, and discouraged? Your emotional response is a clue. Protecting your peace may require limiting or even eliminating certain relationships, no matter how long you've known the person. Protecting your peace also means guarding what you consume. The news, social media, movies, and music you take in all impact your mindset. If you constantly fill your mind with negativity, you'll naturally think negative thoughts. Be selective about what you allow to take root in your spirit. One of the biggest drains on your energy is trying to control things you have no power over. You can't control the weather, other people's choices, or every outcome in life. Stop wasting precious energy on what's outside your control. Instead, focus on what you can change: your attitude, your actions, and your perspective. Make time for stillness. We live in a noisy world, and silence has become rare. But in the quiet moments, you can reconnect with yourself and regain clarity. Whether it's prayer, meditation, or simply sitting in nature, stillness restores your soul. Don't underestimate the power of rest. When you're physically exhausted, your mind becomes more vulnerable to negativity. Take care of your body by getting enough sleep, eating nourishing food, and moving regularly. A healthy body supports a healthy mind. Protecting your peace sometimes means saying no and meaning it. You don't owe anyone an explanation for putting your mental and emotional well-being first. Saying no to things that drain you is really saying yes to your growth and future. Surround yourself with environments that promote peace. Declutter your home. Organize your workspace. Create routines that bring structure and calm into your life. Physical chaos often contributes to mental chaos. Remember that protecting your peace doesn't mean avoiding challenges. It means approaching them from a place of strength rather than stress. When your mind is calm, you can make better decisions and handle difficulties with grace. Don't confuse busyness with productivity. Some people stay constantly busy as a way to avoid facing their thoughts. But non-stop activity without purpose only leads to burnout. Make time for reflection and meaningful rest. Your peace is one of the most valuable things you possess. Treat it like treasure. Guard it fiercely. When you have inner peace, negative thinking loses its grip because your mind becomes a safe, stable place where positivity can grow. When you protect your peace and energy, you're not just improving your own life, you're also setting an example for others. You show them what it looks like to live intentionally with purpose and balance. Build a daily routine of gratitude. Gratitude is one of the most powerful antidotes to negative thinking. You cannot be deeply grateful and deeply negative at the same time. The human mind isn't built to hold both states at once. When you focus on gratitude, it shifts your perspective, softens your heart, and lifts your spirit. It reminds you that even in the middle of challenges, there is still something good in your life worth holding on to. Negative thinking thrives when you focus on what's missing, what's wrong, and what hasn't happened yet. It feeds on lack and scarcity. Gratitude flips the script by drawing your attention to what's already here, what's already working, and what you've already overcome. It's like turning on a light in a dark room. Suddenly, you can see clearly again. Building a routine of gratitude isn't about ignoring your problems or pretending everything is perfect. It's about training your mind to look for the blessings that are often hidden beneath the surface. The more you practice, the more naturally it will come. Over time, gratitude becomes your default state instead of negativity. Start your day with gratitude. Before you even get out of bed, name 3 things you're thankful for. They don't have to be big things. It could be as simple as, I'm grateful for another day of life. I'm grateful for a roof over my head. I'm grateful for the people who love me. This simple habit sets the tone for your entire day. Carry gratitude with you throughout the day. When something goes wrong, pause and find at least one thing to be thankful for in that moment. Maybe the car broke down, but you're grateful it happened near home and not on a deserted road. Maybe you got rejected for a job, but you're grateful you still have skills and opportunities ahead. Gratitude doesn't erase pain, but it gives you strength to face it. End your day with gratitude. Before going to sleep, reflect on 3 positive things that happened. This practice rewires your brain to notice the good instead of obsessing over what went wrong. Over time, it will even improve your sleep and overall mental health. Gratitude works best when it's specific. Instead of saying, "I'm thankful for my family," say, "I'm thankful for my sister calling me today to check on me." A specific gratitude makes your brain relive the positive experience and strengthens the emotional connection to it. Write your gratitude down. Keep a journal where you record what you're thankful for each day. Seeing your blessings in writing makes them more real and gives you a record to look back on when you're feeling discouraged. On your hardest days, flipping through those pages will remind you of just how far you've come. Share your gratitude with others. Tell the people in your life that you appreciate them. Gratitude isn't just about what you feel inside, it's about expressing it outwardly. When you thank others, it strengthens relationships and spreads positivity like wildfire. Practice gratitude even for the challenges. This might feel strange at first, but some of your greatest growth comes from your hardest moments. Thank God for the lessons you're learning, the strength you're building, and the future blessings this struggle is preparing you for. Avoid comparing your life to others. Comparison is the enemy of gratitude. The moment you start measuring your blessings against someone else's, you stop appreciating what you have. Focus on your journey and your progress. Your blessings are uniquely yours for a reason. Make gratitude visible in your environment. Post reminders around your home or workspace, quotes, photos, or lists of things you're thankful for. These visual cues will help redirect your mind whenever negativity tries to creep in. The more you practice gratitude, the more blessings you'll begin to notice. It's not that you suddenly have more, it's that you've trained your eyes to see what was there all along. Gratitude opens your mind to abundance. Gratitude also strengthens resilience. When life knocks you down, grateful people bounce back faster because they have a foundation of hope. They know that even in the midst of hardship, there is still good to be found. That perspective gives them the courage to keep going. Gratitude isn't just a feeling, it's a choice. Every day, you get to decide whether you'll focus on what's wrong or what's right. When you consistently choose gratitude, you weaken the grip of negative thinking and create space for joy, peace, and possibility to grow. Take action before doubt takes over. Negative thinking thrives in hesitation. The longer you sit still, overthinking every decision, the louder your doubts become. Doubt is like quicks, and the more you stand there, the deeper you sink. The only way to escape it is to move. Even small steps forward create momentum that drowns out fear. So many dreams die in the waiting room of overthinking. People talk themselves out of opportunities because they want everything to be perfect before they start. They think, "I'll take action once I have more time, more money, more confidence." But here's the truth, those things don't magically appear. Confidence grows because you take action, not before it. When you wait until you feel ready, you'll be waiting forever. The perfect moment doesn't exist. There will always be something imperfect about your situation, and that's okay. Progress doesn't require perfection, it just requires motion. The first step is often the hardest, but it's also the most powerful. Once you take that initial leap, you break the hold of fear. You prove to yourself that you are capable, even if things aren't perfect. Action creates evidence, and evidence silences doubt. Don't get caught in the trap of needing to know every step of the journey before you begin. You don't need a clear view of the entire staircase, just enough light to take the next step. Trust that clarity will come as you move forward. Negative thinking will try to convince you to play it safe. It will whisper, "What if you fail? What if people laugh at you? What if you lose everything?" The best way to answer those questions is with action. Fear can't survive in the presence of movement. Start small. You don't need to overhaul your entire life overnight. Just take one tiny action today that moves you closer to your goal. Send the email, make the phone call, write the first paragraph of the book. Tiny steps compound over time into massive progress. Celebrate progress, not perfection. Every action you take, no matter how small, is a victory against negative thinking. Acknowledge it. Let it build your confidence and fuel the next step. Surround yourself with people who encourage action. Being around dreamers who are actively pursuing their goals will inspire you to do the same. Their courage will rub off on you, making it easier to silence your own doubts. Set deadlines for yourself. Without a timeline, it's easy to keep pushing things off indefinitely. Deadlines create urgency and force you to act even when you don't feel like it. Understand that failure isn't the enemy and action is. Every successful person you admire has failed, probably many times. The difference is they didn't let failure stop them. They learned, adjusted, and kept moving. When doubt tries to creep in, remind yourself of past victories. Think about other times you were afraid but took action anyway and how it worked out in the end. Let those memories fuel your courage. Take action before you talk yourself out of it. The longer you sit there, the more reasons your mind will create for why it's too risky or too hard. Don't give doubt time to grow. Move quickly, even if it's imperfect. Momentum is powerful. Once you start moving, you'll find it easier to keep going. Action generates energy, and energy propels you forward. Before you know it, you'll be doing things you once thought were impossible. At the end of your life, you won't regret the actions you took, even the ones that didn't work out. You'll regret the chances you didn't take because fear and doubt talked you out of them. Take action now. Don't let negative thinking write the story of your life. Break the cycle and step into your new life. Negative thinking is like a chain. It binds you, weighs you down, and keeps you stuck in places you were never meant to stay. But here's the truth. You have the key to break free. It's been in your hands the whole time. The question is, will you use it, or will you keep dragging those heavy chains into every area of your life? Every negative thought you've been carrying has been robbing you of your joy, your peace, and your future. It's been whispering lies that you're not enough, that you'll never succeed, that your past defines you. But today you have a choice. You can keep listening to that voice, or you can rise up and silence it once and for all. Throughout this journey, we've uncovered the tools to break the cycle, renewing your mind, separating yourself from negativity, speaking life over yourself, facing your fears, staying consistent, reframing your past, living with gratitude, and taking action before doubt takes over. These aren't just steps, they are weapons. Weapons that will help you fight back when life tries to pull you under. Breaking free won't happen overnight. It will take work, discipline, and faith. There will be moments when those old negative thoughts try to creep back in. But this time you'll be ready. You'll recognize them for what they are, lies. And instead of giving them power, you'll replace them with truth. Remember, you are not what has happened to you. You are not the mistakes you've made or the words others have spoken over you. You are more. You are chosen, capable, and equipped to create a life that reflects your true potential. Don't underestimate the power of small, daily changes. It might seem like nothing at first, but over time, those small shifts will completely transform your mindset and your life. You'll look back one day and barely recognize the person you used to be. Your future depends on the choices you make right now. You can keep repeating the same negative cycles, or you can step boldly into a new chapter. A chapter where you take control of your thoughts, your words, and your actions. This is your moment, the moment you decide that enough is enough. No more settling for a life ruled by fear, doubt, and negativity. No more letting your past write your future. It's time to break the cycle. When those dark thoughts come, and they will speak back to them. Stand firm in your new identity. Keep moving forward even when it feels hard. With every step, you'll grow stronger, braver, and more unstoppable. One day, people will look at you and see a living testimony of what's possible when someone refuses to be defined by their struggles. You'll inspire others to break their own cycles, creating a ripple effect of hope and transformation. So today, make a decision to rise, to fight, and to believe in yourself again. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to take the first step, and then the next, and the next. Your mind is the battlefield, but victory is already yours if you refuse to quit. Negative thinking has had its say for long enough. Now it's your turn to speak. Break the cycle. Take back your life, and step boldly into the future you were always meant to live. The world is waiting for the best version of you, and today is the day you finally let them see it.